Well, once again, it's good to be here at Carelli's of Boulder on Thursday nights for Buffs Primetime as we talk Colorado basketball. And hey, look who's here tonight. Isn't that's kind of fun.
Here we go.
You knew it was coming. He texted me here about a half hour ago. He says, I'm on my way. And I wrote back and said, well, Vegas had the odds at 50-50 tonight.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
And did you like the cheer when he walked in tonight?
Oh, that was nice, yeah. No Rip Van Winkle jokes tonight.
Right,
okay, Mark,
exactly.
Please,
I just told him,
stay away.
I am kicking myself because I should have stopped and just bought a cheap alarm clock and presented that to him tonight. But for those of you that are listening don't know, Tad slept through the show last week.
I did. I did.
Hey, coming up with the program.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Is on my way out of the event center last week, I ran a JR Payne, our women's, and she was telling me how much she looked forward to this show and loved talking to you.
Sure,
and I said, I'm going home and going to bed. And damn if I didn't.
And he did. So what was the? Remember, it's a family show. What was when the alarm clock went off at 7:31? What was the first word out of your mouth?
Well, I can't say it.
No,
I
can't. Not.
But we've all had that dream.
Yeah.
Anybody who's an adult who's been to college has that dream where you wake up
miss the
and
exam.
you think, I haven't been to class all semester, and I've got the exam in front of me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like it was kind of one of those you know what moments.
Yes, yeah.
And I knew and there's no excuse. Well, I like to blame my wife, but she wasn't in town.
Sure.
And she likes to say, if I would have been in town, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And she's right.
All the kids are gone. You're an empty nester.
The kids are gone. I went home. I had Betty, my dog, and I'd gotten 9 hours sleep combined the last 2 nights after coming back from Kansas, and I went out to California to see my son Pete play for his senior night. And so I was running on fumes, and I said, I'm going to take Betty home. I'm going to feed her, come do the radio show.
Right.
I lay down, literally, I don't even lay down. I sit down on the couch at like 4:45, 5 o'clock. And
tip the head back.
And it's 7:31. And so anybody that came here last week, look, you were spared, me. So.
Yeah. Just so you know, the next day of practice, I assigned him 50 gassers, so he did run last Friday.
I should have.
Hey, the Buffs are coming off a split. Got the victory over Central Florida. They went on the road against the number 10 ranked Cyclones of Iowa State on Tuesday night. Dropped that one by 14. Getting ready now for Baylor. Got a quick turnaround this weekend. 2-game homestand. Baylor on Saturday, late one on Monday night with Kansas coming to town. JR's here. We're going to talk to JR as well, and then R.J. Smith will be our player guest coming up as well. All right, you get the victory over Central Florida. That was your team needed that badly.
We did, and that was one that we kind of circled. We had a chance to beat them down in Orlando early in the conference season. We let one slip away, and so our guys had a lot of confidence going into that game, and our staff did too. And this is the time of year, Mark, where everybody's got problems. I don't care if you're winning, if you're losing, if you're kind of mediocre, whatever, wherever you are. Like everybody's got problems. So the key is to get your team ready to play, and hopefully you can sustain some things. And we did that more so that we. And I said this after the game. We beat them and we didn't play our best. Yeah. And then we obviously go to Iowa State and get they're a legit team. So, but we needed that win. It was nice to see some joy in the locker room and a little bit of sense of relief from our guys. But we're past the point now where we're worried about our record and what the implications of every game are. It's just, hey, let's take every day as it comes. Let's make the most of it. Let's get better, and let's enjoy each other and what we have left, and bond together. And that's what our team has done.
You get the win over the Knights. Does that reinvigorate? Does it refocus the guys a little bit, or do you not notice it?
I don't know. It certainly they needed that. There's no doubt about that. You get the monkey off your back, but then you say, okay, we're going to play the number 10 team in the country, who's probably a top 5 team in the country, quite frankly, on their home floor in one of the toughest buildings to play in America. And so the odds are stacked against you, and they came out and you were there. I mean they socked us in the mouth, and
they were in your grill right away.
We did not respond very well. So, and then it's funny, after the Iowa State game, you're thinking, well, we just lost to a really good team, and then you watch the film and you're like, oh boy, we weren't very good either. And so you got this push-pull as a coach. Like, you want to encourage your guys and tell them, hey, we just lost to a really good team, which we did. There's no doubt about that. But we had a lot to do with that. And so it gets back to trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to, whether it's your seniors that are, on their last legs, or whether it's your freshmen who are just starting their careers, you want to just keep getting better and helping them every day. And that's what we're trying to do.
Iowa State, what they do that's so impressive, and it's an odd deal to see a team 3 times in a regular season. There was a time when the old Big 8 used to have an in-season tournament, see that would happen on a regular basis. But seeing it, because we saw them in Maui, and we see them December 30th, and now with this one on Tuesday night. One thing they do, Ted, their defense is hounding. I mean, they're right in your grill. Talk a little bit about how your guys handled or didn't handle that, and how they should handle that.
The physicality, like, number one, I told our guys, every time you're in the weight room and Coach Engelhardt is in your grill and your shoulder is sore, your muscles are achy or whatever, like, you better do an extra set or an extra rep or an extra something for Iowa State, because that's the team you have to beat, because they're gonna try to maul you. They're going to try to overwhelm you, and they do it with their physicality. And they also have a system where they say, we're going to foul you. And they might call fouls on us, but they're not going to call every foul on us.
Right.
So we're going to keep fouling you.
Yeah, we'll foul you 35 times. They're only going to call 20.
Exactly.
And we'll force 15 turnovers on the other.
And that's what they do. Yeah. And if you can't handle that physically, mentally, emotionally, we're going to make you wilt.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
The idea from a guard standpoint, because really that's where they bring some phenomenal pressure up front, right? You're coming down. They're right there all the time. The double team comes. Guys get back in their heels. What you want to see is guys be aggressive against that, right?
Well, you want to be aggressive, under control, and you want to have great spacing, because, again, when they double team you, which they do, number one, if you're pressuring me as a defender and I've got the ball and I can't get by you, that's problem number one. Okay, yes. That means we better recruit better.
Right.
Okay, but if there's 2 of the Iowa State defenders on me and they're trapping me, well, there's somebody that's open. I got to be strong enough, and we have to be, as the other 4 teammates on the floor, we have to be available for that guy to pass them the ball. And if you're not in the right spots, you don't have the right spacing, that's problematic. So they make you make plays, and the thing is, in Maui. And certainly in Boulder in early or late December it was, and then in Hilton Coliseum last week, we made some plays. You just have to make them consistently, and you have to that pressure. Say pressure breaks pipes, right? And you're going to turn it over some. That's why we don't say we need to have 0 turnovers against Iowa State. You're going to have so many turnovers, but when you don't turn it over, you got to make them pay with a layup or an open 3. And then when you get open shots, that's one of the problems with our team right now, is we're getting a lot of open looks, whether it was Central Florida, whether it was Kansas, whether it was Iowa State, getting open looks. When you get open looks in this league, you better be able to bury them.
And we're not hitting them right now.
And we're not.
Yeah.
And other teams are. Iowa State goes 10 for 21 from 3. And I said after the game, if they go 10 for 21 from 3, they could win a national championship.
Yeah, they could.
Or certainly a Final Four team.
Yeah.
And now whether they will or they won't, in the tournament, that's anybody's, guess. But they're a solid team, and we are a team that is still trying to find ourselves. Again, we have 9 game goals, Mark, that we shoot for. We were 0 for 9. So we did nothing at a high level on Tuesday night to help us win that game. Central Florida, we have 9 game goals. We hit 4 of them.
Hit 4.
And we win it.
Yeah.
And that's the number we have to hit. And it might be a different goal or a different thing on different nights that it takes to win a game.
Dak, a career high 20 points against Iowa State. How did you evaluate him when you went back and watched him?
He was certainly he can score the ball. His ball goes in. He's got a nice touch. It's the physicality. The physicality that Iowa State brings, gives him problems, and that's just his. Cause part of it's his body type, part of it's his, ability to stay low and keep his balance. But when you score 20 points against a top 10 team on the road, you're doing some good things. We just need more consistently good things from him. But he's young. He's young. Sebastian's young. We got a lot of young players that we got to make sure are getting better, and then we just need our veterans, to step up and play like veterans. And if we get both those things, we can beat anybody in this league. But
Bangott is never going to be a thick guy.
Never.
Right? He's never going to be 250 pounds. It's not going to happen, right?
Correct.
But so when you're looking at him from a defensive standpoint, and the fact that he's dealing with these big monsters in this league, there's 6'11", 260, 270 pounds. You look at him, he's got finesse, he's got quickness, he's got length.
Yes.
All those things. That's how he counters some of the size?
No question. He's got to be footwork, and using his brain and his feet, because he's not going to win we always say you're not going to win a wrestling match. Mm-hmm. Bangott, as much as I love him, he ain't winning a wrestling match in our league. So you better win the footwork match, the brain, mental match, position match, and use your length. You're 6'11", you're long, you got good timing. So, he's. I keep going back to the fact that he is like a freshman, because he didn't.
Sure.
He didn't redshirt as a freshman. He should have. I should have made him.
Yeah.
That's one of my big regrets as a coach right now. But the fact is, he's got 2 more years of eligibility. He's got a chance to be a terrific player in this league. But he just got to understand, what are my strengths, what are your strengths?
Mm-hmm.
And if you and I are playing, like, you've got strengths and I got strengths, like, I got to play to mine, you got to play to yours, and I got to expose your weaknesses, you got to expose my weaknesses. To me, that's what athletics is all about. Whether you're a football player, baseball player, basketball player, doesn't matter. And that's what, development both mentally and physically. That's why it's a process.
Yeah.
That's why, it's one of the things I love about coaching, Mark, is you get a chance to see kids from their freshman year to their senior year and see the growth, see the development, and or if it doesn't happen, guess what? It doesn't happen.
You've always said that when I've asked you before about what position is this guy, you say, well, you are the position that you can guard.
Correct.
What is he naturally? Is he a 4?
He's a 5.
He's a 5?
Right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's a 5. I'm not sure he is a position.
Okay.
Because defensively he's really struggling. Because 5-men bully him.
Yeah.
And then now, where will he be? Where could he be as he develops? He could be a guy that could guard all 5 positions, but right now he's not that guy.
Okay.
So he doesn't have a position right now, And Sebastian Rancic, the other freshman we have, he's getting better defensively. To me, both he and Bangott can guard all 5 positions if they put their minds to it.
Right.
But they've got to do that, and they've got to take pride in that, and not worry about the offensive end of the floor. Because if they get that part down, these 2 kids can really lead us into the next era of postseason NCAA tournament teams at Colorado. And if they don't develop, we better bring them some guys that can.
Right. The Buffaloes getting ready for the Baylor Bears coming to town on Saturday. It's a 1 o'clock game at the Event Center. We are here at Carelli's. It's Bus Primetime. JR Payne and RJ. Well, I almost got it backwards there. JR Payne and RJ Smith. Don't get those 2 confused. They're still coming up. Here we'll have one more segment with Tad Boyle after a quick break. This is Colorado basketball from their field. On Bus Prime Time here at Carelli's, Thursday nights from 7 until 8 o'clock. Our program brought to us by Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo, brewed for full-time Buffs fans. One more segment with Tad Boyle. JR Payne still to come. R.J. Smith still to come in our player segment as well. R.J.'s been a great story for you. Young player that's coming along. Give us a comment or two about R.J.
Yeah, R.J., it's interesting. He redshirted his freshman year, and it was kind of a mutual decision. I thought it was a good decision for him, good decision for us. And then, of course, last year he plays the first, 5 or 6 games. He's in our rotation. Yeah. He's a big part of our future plans and our current plans last year. And then he has the unfortunate, medical condition that he had to go through, and so he didn't get a chance to play the rest of that year. Mm-hmm. So he got a medical redshirt. So he's basically like a freshman,
right,
Mark. And the one thing I say to all our freshmen, and RJ, I don't look at him as a freshman because he's been here. This is his 3rd year, but every freshman I talk to, I said, it's gonna be like a roller coaster. There's gonna be highs, there's gonna be lows, and every day is a new day, and don't let just because you had a good day of practice or a good game, it can't go to your head. You had a bad day of practice or a bad game, you can't let it get you down. You just got to try to stay even keel. And so as I look at RJ's year this year, it's like his freshman year. And guess what? He came out like shooting the ball like as well as anybody. Exceptionally well.
Yeah.
As anybody that's ever probably shot the ball for a series of games for us, like 46% from 3. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's. And then, he hit a little bit of a lull, and it cooled off, and the shots aren't going. And like most young players, that got him down. And to his credit, he's fought through that, and he's understood that, hey, the defensive end is where I can really make my mark. I can affect the game in a lot of different ways, not just shooting the ball from 3, but distributing the ball, making plays off the dribble, getting to the free throw line, making our players better, playing in the pick and roll. So, RJ's got a great future ahead of him. And the great thing is after this year, he's got 3 years of eligibility, which in college basketball right now is really a valuable thing, because you can, he can do a lot of good things, and he can hopefully learn. And one of the things I talked about with RJ too, before this season was like, okay, or even midway through this season, is you've been a part of, a lot of different teams here now, an NIT team, an NCAA tournament team that won 26 games, and now a team that's really, really struggling. And so you can see what works and what doesn't work. You've been in the locker room. You've seen leadership. You've seen lack of leadership. You've seen it all. So, like, how is this going to map your future in terms of what you want to be and who you want to be as you go through the rest of your career? And he's a really talented guy, and what I love about him is he's got a great mom, and his sister's a heck of a player. She was a McDonald's All-American and one of the top recruited players in the women's game. So RJ's a special guy and a guy that's got a great future ahead of him. And even though the first 2 years were tough on him not playing, hopefully now he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, you talk about when players struggle, when they're up and down, when they have injury situations like he had last year. I've watched you guys, but talk about how you attend to those guys, because they come in, they leave home, they're 18 years old, their lives are up and down anyway. How do you guys as a staff kind of attend to that?
Well, I think, every year's different. So, like, his first year as a redshirt freshman, and where he's redshirting and he's able to practice every single day, it was like, okay, you get an extra workout in on game days. It's you're in with Coach Englehart. You're getting a big time lift in, and you're going hard. Most guys on game days, they're getting their pregame meal. We have our shoot around, and they're getting ready for the game. Well, it's on game day for a redshirt, it's totally different. Well, last year, he wasn't able to practice with us because he couldn't be in contact because of the blood thinners. And so he had to get his workouts in kind of one-on-one, more individual type stuff with no contact, which can be beneficial too. But so each situation's a little bit different. But he's had a lot of attention from our staff, from our strength and conditioning staff, and our training staff, as he's been here. But now this year, it's been an up and down year, but that's what most freshman years are like. And I look at, again, we talked about Vanguard earlier. I look at Hassan the same way. I look at RJ the same way. 3 guys that really are like their freshmen because they didn't get a chance to play as much in their first or even in RJ's case, second year. So, the future's bright for them. It really is.
Baylor coming to town on Saturday afternoon. The only time we're going to see the Baylor Bears this year. What is Scott Drew bringing to town?
Extremely talented. Not deep. They play 7 guys, maybe 8 if they have to. With altitude, we're thinking they'll probably play 8. But there is no weakness on their team. They bring a guy from Duke, Jeremy Roach, off the bench. That's how talented. Their big guy, Norchet Omer, is 81 double-doubles in his career. He played at Miami last year when we beat them in Brooklyn, and we know how talented of a player he is. He's averaged a double-double every year he's been in college. Like, he is a real dude.
He's a big, thick 6'7", 250.
Yep.
I mean,
they've got a kid named VJ, I forget, Edgecombe, who is a 6'6".
I think Bola.
He is a projected top 5 pick in the NBA draft
right?
of next year. Like they've got dudes, they're talented. But with that being said, they're thin and they lost their center, so they're a little bit undersized. Celestine is a kid from Cal that transferred there. That's a good player for them. So they've got talented guys, and it's our ability to guard the ball on Saturday is going to be key. Our ability to guard middle ball screens on Saturday is going to be key. If we do those 2 things well, we can beat Baylor. If we can't, we won't, because they're really talented.
We've only got 3 home games left.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 left. Good. This one, Kansas, and then the one after that.
I'd like to get back, to the Central Florida feeling of winning at home and protecting home court, and I know our guys do too. So let's go see what we can do on Saturday.
I like it. And by the way, just since I'm thinking about it now, we've only got 2 shows left after this one. Just
is that right?
2 more Thursday nights,
right.
and then the women are done next Saturday with your regular season. So we're going to talk to JR about that.
They start their their tournament's a little bit earlier. Yeah.
It is. It's quickly coming upon us here at the end of the basketball season. All right. Well, good luck on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah. You bet.
That's Tad Boyle. They'll take on the Baylor Bears at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Scott and I are going to hit the air at 1:30 in the network with the Buffs warm-up pregame show. Coming up next, our players segment, the aforementioned R.J. Smith, the sophomore out of Chino, California, is going to join us after a quick break. We're at Carelli's. It's Buffs Primetime, and this is Colorado basketball from their field. Colorado basketball is brought to us by Molson Coors. Coors Light, choose chill, proud partner of Colorado Athletics. Back here at Carelli's, our gracious host every week. We're just talking. It's got to be 13 or 14 years, I think, we've been here at Carelli's for the program. And so they always do a great job. Best restaurant in Boulder. Our player guest, R.J. Smith, joining us. Sophomore from Chino, California.
So, guys.
He sat down and said, this is my first radio show ever. So what I told him, I said, you know what? You're going to know the answer to every question because we're talking about you. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Yeah?
I'm doing great.
This season's been a challenge for you, as you just heard Tad talking about. How do you kind of working your way through this? How you feeling about things? What things like in the locker room right now?
Everything is good. We all trying to stay positive in the locker room. We know it's a tough season. Most of the guys never been through this losing stretch before. It's all the first time. So just encouraging each other to stay positive and just know we can win games. As long as we stay together. So,
give us some of your background. I mentioned you're from California. Okay, where's Chino at? Where's that?
It's in SoCal, near the San Bernardino area, more inland than LA.
All right.
So maybe like an hour from LA.
All right. Tell us about your family.
I love my mom. Yes, I love my mom. My sister, she's at USC right now, freshman.
Okay.
And I got some step siblings who are all older and stuff living out the state. But yeah, it's really just me, my sister, my mom.
How much younger is she than you?
She's 2 years younger than me.
So 2 years younger.
She's a legit freshman this year.
Okay. And Tad says she was a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, she was number 5 in her class. Had pretty much every school in the country. So
you taught her everything she knows, I understand.
Yeah, she watched me play for shows. She watched me play growing up.
Okay, let's be honest with me. If we got the two of you in the event center and just said, okay, you two siblings, we're going to drop the ball and you're going to go at it, how would that game go?
Oh, she know better. She know better.
Does her game compare to yours?
Yeah, we play a little similar, but more with a defensive mindset, just playing the game the right way.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's how we both just got taught playing the game. So she can shoot the ball, she can handle it, she can do everything. So, pretty similar.
How did you become a Colorado Buffalo? So you're in Southern California.
Right.
How did it work out that you came here? You had options out there, obviously.
Yeah.
So how did this work out?
Well, just grinding. I think Coach Boyle and Coach Greer saw me play in Section 7 in Arizona. And it was my senior summer, and I just put my name on the map. I did pretty good. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, we just building relationships, and it just came down to realize if I want to go to the next level where I want to play, Colorado was my best option, and I believe in Coach Boyle and the coaching staff to develop me into a great player. So, and I still believe in him, and that's why I chose to come here.
You know, he said something during the segment we were talking about you that was really kind of interesting. He said, okay, you're in your third year. You've seen various kinds of teams, right?
Right.
That's going to make you a better player ultimately.
Right.
What have you gleaned from this? This is part of your maturation process, right? Life's going to be up and down anyway. You've seen up and down now. What does that do for you as a player?
Just pretty much everything is a process. One thing I would say I learned just throughout all my 3 years here is it's very physicality, especially coming to the Big 12. Pac-12 wasn't as physical. I mean, I really get that chance to play. So, but just seeing.
But this league is different.
This league is different than Pac-12. So just pretty much the physicality, just being aware of everything, concentrating. You just got to be on top of your game every night.
Yeah. When did you realize you were a good shooter? I've told this story before, but when he was sitting out, we'd be on the road, and in the Pac-12, you got those day or two in between games, Thursday, Saturday games. And we made a practice someplace, and the guys would have a little three-point shooting contest, and I'm always kind of keeping an eye on what's going on out there. This guy, when you were sitting out, many times he was the one walking away with a win in that. So you've always been a shooter.
Yeah.
When did you realize you were a good shooter?
Yeah, it's really playing those competitions, really. Just going against, I'm shooting against KJ Tristan last year. Then I'm playing, we had a bunch of good shooters on this team this year. And I'm coming to the top, I was like, getting that confidence boost. And then throughout this year, it's my first year, and I seen some shots going in. I'm like, all right, this is the real deal. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Now, the ebb and flow of that, right?
Yeah,
you're going to find cool-off periods.
Yeah.
How do you fight mentally? How do you fight through that?
I just keep getting in the gym, just knowing I'm a good shooter. Just work ethic. Yeah. So just staying in the gym, knowing it can go in, it's confidence. I've done it before, so.
So last year you're on the team with three guys who get drafted in the NBA. You got KJ, you got Cody, and you got Tristan. What did you learn from watching those guys and what they did that you tried then to emulate to maybe get yourself to the NBA?
Right. I'll say for KJ and Tristan, definitely their work ethic. Tristan was in the gym every day. When I was leaving, he was still getting another workout in. KJ stayed all night. So just really just seeing how they worked, and then how that's where they got where they're at now. It was pretty inspiring. And Cody, he's super talented. He was in the weight room fighting injuries last year, just to see his resilience. So just taking that, and just I've been injured and been in that spot before, so I just got to keep working and staying down, really.
How tough was that on you last year? So you get maybe you can explain it as much as you want. You can tell as much as you want what you were dealing with, but it kept you out the bulk of the season. How tough was that for you?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. So last year, pretty much, I got a blood clot in my calf, which spread up to my lungs and stuff. So I was out for the whole. I had to take blood thinners for 6 months.
Right.
And it was challenging for sure, because just knowing I was in the rotation with those guys. We had a great team the season we had last year, and that just taken away from me. I was pretty sad at first, but just knowing like God always has a plan for me. There's a longer journey for me. So really just praying, just knowing that I'm gonna be okay.
That's a scary deal, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you're 18, 19,
scary.
whatever you were, and you're invincible, right? You don't think about those kind of things, and all of a sudden they tell you, hey, you're dealing with blood clots and it's up in your lungs. That's kind of brings you back to reality very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Being a basketball player is like, you're a student athlete, but you really think you're a basketball player, and then it's like that ability. Like I know basketball my whole life, and then it's taken away from me. You don't know what the future holds. It was really scary, for sure.
We're getting down the stretch of the season here, right? You guys, I mean, we want us to rack up some more wins here down the stretch. Let's get it started on Saturday. What do you think?
That sounds great to me.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That sounds great to me. Let's get it done.
Let's do it. Let's hear it for R.J. Smith, sophomore for the Buffaloes, as they take on Baylor on Saturday at 2 o'clock. We're here at the Carelli's for both Primetime. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and JR Smith. Man, that's a tough deal with RJ and JR. JR Smith is going to get.
JR Payne.
Yeah, JR, that's right. I did it again, didn't I?
Look.
It's my first time doing this. So, all right.
All right, thank you.
JR Payne is going to join us after we talked with RJ Smith. That'll be coming up next year. This is Colorado basketball for Learfield. Back one final time on Buffs Primetime here at Carelli's of Boulder. Our gracious host every week on Thursday night from 7 until 8 o'clock. We're out here. Come on by and join us for great Buffs talk, great Italian food, or you can listen in on the Colorado Basketball Network on our flagship KOA Radio in Denver. Or, of course, they're streaming on the Facebook page as well. CU women coming off a loss last night. They had Baylor in town, 84-62 the final there. Buffalo's now 17-9, 8-7 in Big 12 conference play. And JR Payne is joining us. Somebody's giving me a hard time. We had RJ and you're JR and I'm MJ. So now I'm really confused about everything. But welcome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Last night, Baylor came in and kind of a tough start for the Buffaloes.
Yeah, it was a tough start. I mean, Baylor's a really good basketball team.
Yeah.
You know, they're veteran. They can shoot. They're athletic. They have inside play. They have outside play. They're all league first team point guard has played the most games in Big 12 women's basketball history.
Really?
I think she's basically started all 5 years and been pretty impactful.
Isn't it crazy the number of games we're seeing in college athletics? I mean, players are playing 140, 50, 60 games.
It's wild, yeah. And some of the records that are being set, I don't know, unless we just keep giving players more eligibility. Some of those records will probably never be touched.
Yeah. Is there any truth that at this point you're putting a shingle out and just inviting people to come play for your team because you're running out of players?
I'm considering
Holy
it.
Cow,
We are strongly considering it.
What did you do? Did you break a mirror? Did you
not
walk under
me.
a ladder?
I know. I keep saying someone's not living right, and it's
Man.
not me because I'm trying to toe the line. But actually, really good news. We have a couple players coming back by Saturday.
Fantastic.
So I
That's good to hear.
can't tell you who.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma State's probably watching our live stream,
yes,
and they
right,
want to
right.
know the goods.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I am not going to give them away, but we do have a couple bodies coming back.
When the show's over, come by and ask her. She'll tell you.
I will tell you,
Once we're off
yes.
camera and off microphone.
Yeah.
Now with that being said, your previous ball game, your freshman came out and really played well for you.
They did great, and it's really hard sometimes for freshmen. We were talking about this at the table, just staying ready.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come in as a freshman, play in big games, play in important moments, and that's just not always the reality.
Yeah.
But if you can stay ready, like continue to work hard, stay positive, stay engaged, watch the film, when your number's called and you're ready, you're going to get a whole lot more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of our freshmen for doing that.
Hey, they jumped on and played very well. You can talk specifically about some of the performances that came out of that ball game. Do you as a staff, I talked with Tad a little bit about this, do you try to attend to them during the season when they're not getting those minutes and encouraging and letting them know that your time's coming?
Yeah, definitely. We try to spend a lot of time with them, especially the freshmen, just because it is so hard and you're away from home. And it's usually the hardest thing you've ever done in your life.
Yeah.
It's you're away from home. The food is different. Your bed is different. You're not playing as much as you want to. It's it's hard.
And they were all stars where they came from.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. Everyone was the best player in their league and city and sometimes state. So it's challenging. But back to that Houston game. So we had, everybody that played really contributed. But we had, for the first time in I think almost 35 years, 2 freshmen that had double doubles on the same night.
Right.
I think Grace Oliver
Since 1979, I saw this.
Was it really? Okay, so 46 years.
So,
yeah. So Grace Oliver had, I think, 16 points, 14 rebounds. Aaron from England had 11 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
Kennedy Sanders, who kind of like RJ, redshirted as a freshman. So I consider a freshman, had 18 points. And so a lot of big nights for those young kids. And most of the second half, it was at least 3 freshmen on the floor for most of the game.
Does that make you nervous as a coach when you're putting a bunch of 18-year-olds out there?
Well, at that point, when you look down the bench and there's nobody else in a uniform, it's like, all right, let's go.
Let's go see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun.
But there's got to be a validation, and not only for them, but for you as well.
Yes,
when you finally see them get some game action, and they drop into the middle of the fire, and they actually perform.
Yeah, and perform well.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, man, we just had to do it. We didn't have a choice. Like, they came in and were impactful, like had big plays and smart plays and, opportunities to learn and things that, you gather the film and you go, oh, look at what you did here. That was great. And it's just really fun to see them grow like that.
I know last night the turnovers became a bit of an issue. Has that begun to, that game maybe aside, are you cleaning those up a little bit?
It's been a lot better. Yeah. Or I would say at least the first half of the season, turnovers were definitely an issue. And then it's really been better. It's just hard. Sometimes you play a team like Baylor, kind of like the way that Tad's talking about Iowa State, just every touch is difficult. Every catch, at halftime we're like, it's just pass and catch. Like if we can just pass it clean and catch it clean, we're running great offense in, but so many times it's like balls slipping, it's hard to get open, and so that was a challenge.
Like I mentioned before we brought you on, next Saturday is your last regular season game.
It is, yeah. I mean, our last home game is next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Senior night. We got a lot of them.
Has it gone fast, or has this been a season that's dragged on, or how has it been for you?
I don't know. It kind of depends on the day, I guess. The last few weeks have been tough with so many players out.
Yeah.
But we have a pretty happy-go-lucky bunch, and so I think that makes it easier.
I don't know if I've asked you this. Tad was talking about the difference between Pac-12 and Big 12. What do you notice the difference from a league standpoint on the women's side?
I mean, in the Pac-12, 1 through 12, everybody was really good.
Yes.
I mean, almost every weekend we were playing a top 15 opponent, and so the top half of the Big 12 is really good, just as good. And so we haven't played every single team yet. Oklahoma State Saturday will be the first time we've played them. I don't know. We were always the physical team. Like when Tab was talking about Iowa State, like they're just going to maul you and it's going to be physical. I was like, yes, I love that. That's who we've always been. And so I think that's what the Pac-12 used to say about Colorado.
Sure.
And we're not as physical as we used to be. We just don't have the same bodies that we have then. But the biggest difference for me in the Big 12 is that I don't like is I wish we could play more people twice.
Sure.
I love being able to play somebody, and then whether it's a week later or 3 weeks, whatever it is, you get a chance to fix some things maybe you wish you'd done differently and get another crack at somebody. So I miss that.
Yeah, a lot of these one-off games where you see them one time. And
it just feels like a really long preseason.
Yeah. This is a reality of modern college sports right now. You saw Aaron Vonleh last night. Is that an odd deal when
it's not for us? It's not. Okay. I think for some teams it is. We always we love our kids whether they're with us for 1 year or 5 years, and wish them the best and continue to support them. I mean, we're pretty connected to most players that have actually transferred out of our program just because it's bigger than basketball.
It's just what it is right now. I mean, we're accustomed to it, and I saw a stat in men's basketball earlier today. They had the top 10 teams in the country, and they were gauging how many freshmen are playing significant minutes.
Yeah.
In the top 10, it was only like 4 or 5 freshmen out of 10 teams.
I know, it's wild.
Teams are getting older because of this.
Yeah. And if you can find, again, like we've been talking about our freshmen, if you can find players that are willing to just continue to work and continue to understand that it's a process and success doesn't look the same for everybody, and so if you can find those players that are willing to buy in and believe in that and want to be developed and all of those things, then I think you can grow an older roster, from youth, from freshmen up, which is certainly our goal, so that you're not just bringing in a bunch of new players every year.
So you kind of look at the transfer portal as plugging a hole or fixing a need that you've got, rather than, and you still want to develop your players.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if we could bring in several good freshmen that can work and develop and grow, and maybe you lose a point guard or a point guard gets injured, and so you need to grab one out of the portal or something like that. I would rather do that most years. All
right, this weekend it's Oklahoma State. You head to Stillwater, Gallagher, Iba, one of the great arenas in the country. Give us a quick scouting report on the Cowgirls.
I mean, they're really good. They've won a bunch in a row, and they're very experienced and actually kind of similar to Baylor. Real athletic, can shoot the heck out of the ball and good inside play. So the great thing for us is we're getting a couple bodies back, so we love that. It's going to help with depth and confidence and all of that. But it'll be a tough game for sure.
And there's nonstop scheduling the men and women head-to-head. It happened again. The women are playing at 1 o'clock in Stillwater. The men are playing at 2 o'clock as they'll take on the Baylor Bears on Saturday afternoon. All right, well, good luck out and get a win.
All right, thanks. Go Bucks.
Let's hear it for JR Payne, the CU women right now, playing some very good basketball as we wrap it up. Again, 2 more weeks left here at Buffs Primetime at Carelli's on Thursday nights. We're out here from 7 until 8 o'clock for the coaches and for RJ. Thanks for joining us. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. This has been Colorado Basketball from the